MillennialWatch podcast.
Hello.
We are coming through you from San Diego over here and Atlanta over there.
Hello.
Yes.
Welcome.
So if guys, if this is your first time, welcome. Thank you for clicking on our video. While you're watching, go ahead and subscribe. Leave a comment about anything that you think is funny or interesting, and let us know what you think. And also listen to us on Apple Podcasts and all the other ways that you can listen to us audio in case, you have to drive somewhere.
Anywhere you listen to your podcast, you can listen to us.
Yeah.
So,
all right. You ready to get into it, Twin?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Hey, Twin.
Hey, Twin.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hello, people, listeners. How are you
doing?
doing?
Hello, listeners. How are y'all doing? How's your week? How's your life? How's stuff?
How's the quarantine? Because some people are back in quarantine.
Yes, we in the city of Atlanta, the outer northern and southern, more southern cities in Georgia aren't quite as restricted. But here in Atlanta, they've locked everything's back to phase 1 because there was just a massive surge of cases here in Atlanta. So, and it just probably had a lot to do with the massive amount of protesting, all that stuff that was going on here. So, and we are staying in the center of downtown right now. So it doesn't really affect us, because where we're staying, we're one very high up into 3 different levels of security doors and barricaded garage. So we don't feel in any way not safe. It's just annoying because I don't know if anyone's ever been to Atlanta, at least years ago. Atlanta was one of the most beautiful, clean, well taken care of cities in the country, especially compared to LA and Hollywood. So it's kind of sad now to see all the boarding up on the walls and all that stuff. And but when you get up towards the Alpharetta or you get into Roswell, you kind of see life again, see people enjoying the world. So it seems less sad and depressing. So whenever we do get out, we already were leaving the city as it is, and just getting out of the city, going up north. So but this week we got to see Ashley and I have a stepsister named Meredith. She has a family. She has 3 kiddos, one whom she adopted, who's Easton. He's about a year and a half, I think, a little bit younger than Landon. So he's sweetie. He's a little chunky monkey, but he was so sweet. And we got to have dinner with them in Alpharetta. So Blake got to meet them, and Lana got to meet Easton, and Sophie got to meet Easton. Jordan wasn't there. But we got to meet Easton and Sophie and stuff. So that was a lot of fun. We had a blast. It was so nice to, I don't know, we hadn't seen Mare in so long that it was nice to spend some time with her. So
yeah, we have, so here, Phoenix and I have literally been going to the pool every single day. He's become he already was a fish, but we just started because he's been out of school for the last 2 weeks.
It's literally right next to your place though.
It's a 30 it takes walk. 5 seconds. Yeah, not even 30 seconds, 10 seconds. 30 seconds is a lot. But we do have to, so the complex right now opened up the pool because we are still in phase 3. I believe we're in phase 3 here, which I know you guys are back to phase 1, but so our pool is still open.
Back in phase 1 too.
Yeah. So we're still in San Diego and Chula Vista. We're still moving forward in the phases. So our pool is still open, and we've been going literally every day. Like I said, Phoenix is on a break. He goes back to school Thursday, actually, or preschool Thursday. So we've been on a break. So I'm it's too hot to take him to a park. So because he just is it's so sweaty and so hot and so grumpy. So I'm all right, let me just take him to the pool because then he can at least keep kind of cool and still burn off a lot of energy. And so in the process, I met 3 moms actually. I met a new mom yesterday, and she has a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. And then another mom I met, and she has what does she have? She has a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. So her oldest son is the same age as Phoenix. And then another mom who has a 7-year-old. So I met a bunch of moms that live in my apartment complex. We have kids around the same age. So apparently there's a school over here called Morocco, or is the elementary school that this apartment complex feeds into. So that's where they all go. Apparently they have a TK program. So sort of looking into that, except there's no definite answers on whether or not the kids are physically going back to school yet. They say August 31st, but nobody knows what exactly that means. What are the criteria? What are our kids gonna have to wear? What is their costumes gonna be like? What is the environment gonna be like? So also I think that their TK program is only half day too. I think it's from like 8:15 to like noon. And I mean, I prefer Phoenix to go to school all day. So because next year he'll be going all day, it doesn't really like help him to go half a day and then come home. So I think, not to mention the fact that I like having my days. He has plenty of breaks throughout the year where he can be home, and then he can I can go back to like getting things done during the day I like to get done. Anyways, that said, it was really nice to meet some other moms that live in the area, like in the neighborhood, that we're like the same age. One of the moms is 29 or 28, and then the other two moms are 31. So it was really nice to like,
awesome.
yeah. So it was really nice to meet like moms that
You
have
made some
kids.
friends, twins.
Yeah, and Phoenix made a friend. So this other little boy, Phoenix, it's funny though, because this little boy is actually older. He was born in October, and Phoenix is born in January. So like Phoenix is actually a few months younger, but this little boy is so tiny. Like he is literally like, if they were walking next to each other, you would think that he was like Phoenix's baby brother. Like he's so tiny. But they're the same age. So I don't know. I never realized how big Phoenix was until I saw him next to another 4-year-old, and I was like, wow, so yeah, so that's pretty much been my week. It's been pretty fun to like get to see him like develop his swimming skills. Like last week he wouldn't even barely like walk in the pool, and like I would try to get him to swim and he'd like flail everywhere. And now he's like going in the water and swimming. I think the only thing that we need to work on is like his ability to swim above the water with his head above the water.
Yeah.
Like treading water.
Treading water is hard.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I've been like, is it really that important? Like,
I used to hate that. I hated treading water. It's a freaking full-on workout to like keep yourself above water, like, or like in the water,
Yeah. So like he can go underneath the water and come up, and then go back down and come up. So I feel like that's honestly good enough for me. Like I feel like I mean, we're not going to have him in like super deep parts of the pool, because just the simple fact that it's like, even me, like I can barely stand in the 5 feet. So
yeah,
comes up to like right here. So like, so I'm not expecting him to like be like this massive, like great swimmer, but I do want him to be comfortable enough that like he can, at least like if he ends up in the 5 feet, or if he wants to jump in the deep end, he can like tread for a little bit and swim to the side. So we'll work on that later. But for right now, he's a 4-year-old and he is doing totally fine. So he's way better swimmer than he was 2 weeks ago. And he kind of helped the other little boy like kind of get his confidence. And I kind of felt bad because Phoenix is like a fearless swimmer. Hold on. And
because you're cutting out. Okay, go ahead. Phoenix is a fearless swimmer.
Okay. Yeah. So Phoenix is like a fearless swimmer, and this other little boy, like his mom kind of had like some anxiety about him swimming. So he was like, no, mom, I can do it. And she was like, no, like stay over there. Don't do that. Like whatever. So when he saw Phoenix swimming, but he was like, he really couldn't, like before, the little boy like couldn't really swim. So like he was seeing Phoenix do it, and like Phoenix was trying to like show him, and the mom was like, she wasn't like weird about it, but she was just like, hey Dominic, like you're not as strong of a swimmer, like just be careful, like I don't want you walking. And he's also shorter than Phoenix, so like they can't walk in the water in the same heights. So it's kind of like, I don't know, but either way, like it was cool to meet the moms. We kind of talked about a lot of stuff. So but yeah, that's pretty much my week.
So do you have something? We had like so we did kind of, so out here, obviously, if you've never been to Georgia, it's beautiful and it has tons and tons of parks and hiking and trails and all this stuff. So you actually found this really cool park called Willis Park out here. It's actually in Alpharetta, or is it in Roswell? Somewhere. It's Alpharetta, Roswell. If you've never been here, they lead into each other.
Basically the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, same area. And they have this thing called like the spray grounds, which I'm sure people have seen them. Like if you go to a water park, it's basically just like, or a lot of places, like if they have fountains, they have like fountains inside the ground that like just shoot water up or whatever. But this park has like 2 huge jungle gyms, which when we went, it was like 90 degrees outside, so it was hot. But some of them were like, had like these tent like coverings over them, so they kept them kind of cool. But the spray grounds were awesome. Like Landon, it took a little bit of like Blake running him in and out of the water for Blake to get it, but by the end, like Landon was like not trying to leave. Like he loved running in through the water, and like, so that was pretty cool. And it was cheap. It was like $2 a person. But $2 for each person that was going to be in the water. And then of course, like Landon's still like in the potty training process, so he had to wear a swim diaper, which was $1, and that was it. So. And it was kind of spontaneous because we didn't even know if the spray grounds were actually open. So we went over there just to kind of go to the park because the park is so cool. And then we kind of walked around the park, and there was like an overlook, like there was a path that took you to an overlook that looks right over the Chattahoochee. Yeah, the Chattahoochee. And there were people paddleboarding out there, and there's trees that were growing fresh raspberries. If you're listening to me say this and you're like, yeah, we saw it on your story. It is on my personal Facebook story, Instagram story, and Facebook. So you can see like little videos and clips of us doing that. But it was I never had a raspberry like plucked right from a tree before. And Blake's like Mr. Green Thumb, so every time we go out anywhere, he's like, there's honeysuckles. This is how you suck the honey out of the honeysuckle, and these are raspberries. And I'm like, I would never think to eat like just walking through
from the video. It didn't look like you enjoyed them very much. So
no, so the first one was like really not ripe. They were like they're black. Well, I'm sorry, I keep saying raspberries. They were blackberries. Okay. So the first one was like really pink and not good. So the first one Blake plucked, Landon and I both were like, no, that's icky. The second ones that were like really black though were actually really good. Like, and normally like whenever you get a blackberry from the store, they're giant, right? The ones that we got were just like these like teeny tiny little baby ones. So anyways, it was kind of cool. It was fun. We've done like a lot of outdoorsy like stuff with Landon, which I didn't realize my kid was such an outdoors kid, but he loves being outside. So we've had a lot of fun. But these last couple of days, obviously with everything closing down again, it's kind of slowed down our getting out of the house situation, but it was nice. Landon had some fun. So it was cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I have one. Well, actually I have two Did You Sees, but do you have anything for Did You See, Did You Hear this week?
The only thing that I came across this week that was interesting was if you haven't like paid attention a little bit to pop culture news, it's kind of a minuscule thing, but Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith kind of they brought each other to the red table for like a 15-minute like conversation. Yeah. About like the stuff that's going on in social media, because this guy that Jada was seeing when she and Will were broken up made a statement saying that he got permission to date Jada, which is not really what happened. Like, and it kind of made it seem like he gave permission. So everybody's been saying like there's been rumors they've been together for 23 years. There's been rumors that they've been in an open relationship. There's been rumors that like she cheated on him, that like all these different rumors, none of which are true. They legitimately broke up. Will just had a conversation with them because they broke up amicably. So like they were broken up. So Will didn't give him permission. And Jada was like, yeah, you're not giving permission for like, the only person that can give me permission for what I did was for me. Like, you're not about to give me away. Like, I'm not property to you, right? But it was actually really interesting on the table talk. I watched like a few minutes of it just to kind of clarify the situation. So apparently they're doing great now. They like kind of fixed all of their issues and they're very strange, the two of them. But it's funny to listen to them talk. Yeah, it's funny to listen to them like talk and sit down and have a conversation with each other, because they've just purposefully been there's just been letting people spread like rumors, let the rumor will swirl and then dissolve and swirl and dissolve. And they just felt like this particular thing, they were just tired
of needed to say something.
They were just like, we need to sit down together and address it. You're not going to say that like, oh, well, there was a statement from, they're like, if you've heard any statements from us talking, it wasn't, because we specifically have not been putting out any statements. So this is the only thing that you can like bank your, opinion on is this conversation we're about to have. So I thought that was
and now
cool.
Jada has a platform.
Yeah, now that she has red table talk.
Yeah, exactly. So she can like address whatever she wants.
Legitimately, she addresses anything on there.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched Red Table Talk, it is you can watch it on Facebook. It is now a podcast officially. Before it was like a video cast or whatever, but it's officially a podcast now also. But you can watch it on Facebook.
Cool. Yeah, I heard a little bit about that situation, and I know like people were like saying stuff like all the people that have been in Jada and Will Smith's bed and whatever, and I was just like,
weird
what
stuff.
are people talking about? Yeah. Okay, so I have two things, and I'll just like briefly talk about the first one. So the first one is just a video that Derek tagged me on Instagram, and I posted on our story, and there's a conversation about millennials. And if you don't know, a millennial was somebody born after 1984. And then I don't know when it stops and then when the Gen Z start, but it's after 1984. So that makes
I think it's 1999 or 2000 or something is when
it stops.
Gen Z starts.
Okay. So basically we're millennials. Like we're in the core of it. We're born in 1989. And so what I find interesting about this was that it was basically saying that like millennials.
Is Christian Gen Z or is she a millennial?
She's Derek's age, so she's a millennial.
Okay.
So basically, the conversation was basically about millennials and how people, all the things that people say about millennials. They're entitled, they have no work ethic, they're spoiled brats, all this stuff. And like the basis behind that is stuff like when we were kids, getting like everybody on the soccer team getting a trophy, even if they lost. Or you like them giving out a lot of awards, like when you're in the first grade, if you were at like a perfect attendance ceremony and you didn't get perfect attendance, they would give you like an achievement award or some crap, like just awards so everybody feels special. And he said like everybody's parents was like, you're special, you can do anything, you're great. And then they get into the world and they're like, you're not really that special, you're not that great, you're you're not just going to get a promotion because you deserve it, like you actually have to work for it. And he said a lot of millennials, like they go into the workplace and then they like after 8 months, he said, I would talk to millennials, they'll go to workplace, they'll work for 8 months and like, I think I'm going to quit. And he's like, why? He's like, well, I don't feel like I'm really making an impact on this place, this job. He's like, what do you mean? You've been here for 8 months. Like, give it a few years before you decide that you're not making an impact or you're not being seen or you're not whatever. And I just thought it was really interesting to like hear. And he said, he basically attributed it to what I said before of like this idea when we were younger that all kids, like everybody is special and everybody is going to be great at something and you can do whatever you want and you can be whoever you want and all of this stuff. And then you get out into the workplace and you realize it's not as easy as just me being whatever I want. Like there's a lot of work that comes into it. And he also said just with like social media too, like the lack of ability to like, and even me, it just pointed out something in me. I was just telling somebody the other day, if I order something and it says it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks, I'm probably like, do I really need it that bad? Like, do I need to wait a month for this? Like, no, or this particular thing, can I not? Like, no, like if I can't get it, if I just like, if I can't get it in 7 days, that's too long. Like, but the thing is, if I can't get it in 7 days and I'm ordering online, that brings no benefit to me. I might as well just go get it from the store. I'll go buy it from the store. Because it benefits me not to wait 3 weeks to get something that by the time it gets here, I'm be like, okay, I don't think I really needed that much. Or can I find it at the store? Is it like, if it doesn't save me money and it costs me more time, then there's no reason for me to buy it online. Except for during like the massive quarantine of the country where like I couldn't really go to the store. I didn't want to stand in like a line for Walmart for an hour to get, one nail polish color or whatever it is. Or if it takes 3 weeks, fine. I'm still gonna be quarantined in 3 weeks. Might as well wait, But in general, even with free delivery with Amazon Prime, I'm not trying to freaking wait like a month for something to get delivered. I feel like that's just lazy to me. Yeah. Well, what he said was that our generation like delayed. We don't know like what delayed gratification is. Yeah, because we can literally get anything and like snap our fingers and it's like at our door. We don't have to leave to go get it. You can literally order it off. You don't have to like go to a store and walk through the lines and then wait in line and then buy it. Like you literally can just spend 5 seconds on your phone, search it, order it. Yeah, pick one out of 25 different types and have it ordered to your house. So anyway, so it was just a really interesting thing. It was about a 10-minute video, and I normally don't watch these long videos. Like again, my attention span is like for stuff on my phone is very short. But I did watch this whole video, so it was really interesting. So I'll try to get the link. We'll put it in the description box, obviously, or show notes. And then also, it might still be on no, by the time you guys see this, it won't be on my Instagram story. So yeah, I will go ahead and just put it in the show notes, so you guys can know about it. The second thing is, so there's this guy, his name is, what's his name? Darnell Adkins. And he was in the Navy. So he's like an ex-military. And when he got out of the military, he couldn't find a job. He had a really hard time finding a job. And he went into a nail shop because he wanted to get his nails done. And he asked him, like, he wanted to get a pedicure and a manicure. He's like, how much he's a straight guy, by the way. He's like straight as it can be. He's also a black guy. So he went in there and he was like, I want to get my hands beat done. They're like, okay, it'll be $70. He's like, $70? And he's like, for a dude to get his nails done? To get a manicure and a pedicure. No. Yeah. And he was like, for real? And he's like, yeah, $70. He's like, I'm in the wrong business. So this dude 2 days later registers for freaking cosmetology school and learns how to do nails. And he opened up a shop and he has like other straight guys that do nails for a living. And he's like, why have we not bought into this industry? It's $1 billion industry. We should have been doing nails. Like the Asian people, the Vietnamese, they say like the majority of people that do nails are obviously Asian, but specifically Vietnamese women. And he said that he's like, there's a big stigma around like men already getting their nails done, and then Black men doing anything else that's not masculine or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I told Derek, I said, look, you know how many bachelorette parties these dudes are going to have? If you get a group of attractive men that can do your nails really, really well, and you sit on your bachelorette party, and these dudes are just like really cute, great conversation, whatever, like, that dude is so smart. Like, that is a business. So I was so excited when I heard this, because I was just like, that is. And he said like what happened was like he got out of the Navy and he started like going back and doing like selling drugs and stuff like that because he really couldn't find a job. And now he's like I don't know why. He's like, I don't give a crap if people think that I am not masculine, if I'm feminine, if I'm gay, whatever. He's like, I don't care. I just wanted to make money.
I make money.
Broke. Yeah. So anyways, I'll put the link to this article as well.
That is awesome.
It was really interesting. With all the stuff that people were talking about with like supporting Black businesses, this was obviously like, you know, something that an article that came up. So I just thought it was super interesting. And yeah, so I will let you guys read the whole article, but it's pretty cool. Like you can see this dude, he has like dreadlocks and like 2 sleeve tattoos, Black guy, like super jacked. And he's literally, there's a picture of him doing this little girl's nails.
That is so cute.
Isn't that cute? Anyways. Read the article. It's really cool. Okay, so we need to go ahead and get into the. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So before we get into our topic, 2 shows for you guys to watch on Netflix right now. So we'll have to we may have to make a segment out of this and like just be like something. We'll call it something like NetWatch or something. But yeah, there are 2 shows on Netflix that you must watch. One is I Do. Isn't that what it's called? Say I Do.
Say I Do. Yes.
Say I Do. You must watch this adorably sweet. I've watched 1 episode so far. I actually got my hands full with all these big shows. I'm still I've got a lot of shows to get through. And some of them are just long. Like The Medium is like an hour-long episode. So like, that's a lot. And then if you watch anything on Netflix at all, it's a full hour. It's not like a kind of hour. It's a full hour of your life. Yeah. So I started watching. So Say I Do is super cute. It's made by the same creators of Queer Eye. So it's 3 gay men that help these people like redo their wedding experiences. And then the other one is Warrior Nun, which is super cool. It? So good, twin. Gotta watch it. I'm like 4 episodes
on Netflix. It was so funny because Derek and I were watching this and we were like, look, you know how the previews just pop up. And I was like, babe, we need to watch 1 episode. He was like, why? He's like, because Amber's got me on this thing where like, if I see anything remotely interesting, we have to watch 1 episode. So I was like, we need to watch, because we were both like, there's like Warrior Nun. That sounds really freaking dumb. Like, but it's like so totally up our alley. It's like supernatural, like cool stuff. It's nuns that like kick, like it's. I haven't watched it.
So it reminds me.
You watched the first episode?
I've watched like 4 episodes of it. So good. It reminds me of a Netflix like enhanced version of what did we just watch? The Witch Warrior. What's it called? The Witch. The Salem Witch.
Oh, Motherhood Salem.
I said the same thing. Okay, so it's similar to that, but these are Catholic warrior nuns. So similar. They fight evil and the forces of darkness and blah, blah, blah. But they are Catholic warrior nuns. And it's freaking cool. So I won't give the whole story away, but like y'all watch it. So go on Netflix and add it to your watch list of 1,000 things that you still haven't gotten through from COVID, like quarantine. So Warrior Nun and Say I Do, 2 great shows. They're in the top 10 list of shows you should watch right now in the USA. So check those out. But anyways, let's get into our topic. We have 2 things that we want to address, like talk about and discuss, because a couple of things that have happened to us that we've come across this week that we wanted to talk about. So we decided to turn them into like our topic this week. So
yes,
which one do you want to start with?
Okay, so I'll start with mine and then we'll go into the other one. Okay. So basically this week, if you follow us on social media, you've seen my post. A few people like commented on it or reacted to it. And basically what happened was, like I said before, we'd been going to the pool a lot. And for one, there's restrictions on our pool. We have a very small pool in our community. The normal max capacity is
tiny.
58. Yeah, the max capacity normally is 58. Okay. But with COVID, it's now down to 10 people. So not half capacity, 10 people at a time at the pool. So we show up at Phoenix and I show up, and we go to the pool every single day. So like even the people at the community were like, "Oh, go ahead, I trust you. Let me know if there's not 10." Like they just let us go in because I see them every day pretty much. So so we go there, and there is a family there. We walk by, and the reason I knew they were a family because they were all sitting at the same table. 6 adults sitting at one table. Now for social distancing, there shouldn't be 10 people sitting at the same table unless they're in the same family. But how could one family, we live in an apartment, you can't even have 10 people in one apartment. So I was just confused as to how there were 10 people in this one family. No, they clearly were not in the same family. They just broke the rules and brought everybody in their family together. So I get there and I'm like, this is one family. Like this is seriously, I was pissed. So there's a list. We have to sign in to say like what time we came in because we're only allowed to be there 90 minutes a day. Okay. So, which is plenty. It's 90 degrees outside.
It really is. It's so hot.
An hour and a half is plenty. So we get there. The sign-in sheet said Phoenix and I got there at 2 o'clock. The sign-in sheet said that they had signed in. One group had signed in at 12, and the other group had been there since 10:30. And I was like, okay. So my next thought was like, okay, maybe it just because nobody else was trying to come to the pool that they didn't come kick them out. So I showed up, was like, hey, so they go out there and they're like, hey, they're going to be, a couple of them are going to leave so you guys can go. Okay. So 2 of this party of 10, I'm sorry, it was party of 9. 2 of this party of 9 left, but they didn't leave. They proceeded to stand right outside the gate. And like people just kept walking in and out of the pool from this family.
Just taking turns?
Like the kids were in the pool and then the moms were not, but the moms kept like getting up and going and talking to whoever was outside. And then one of them would come sit down and then one would go outside, and they were just like rotating in and out.
That's a lot of work.
And I'm like, you've already been here for 3 hours. Like, why? Okay. So all that was annoying. So that was annoying. I was just like, whatever, like me and Phoenix are going to go to the pool. It's fine. Okay. What really annoyed me, which is what I talked about on Facebook, was the fact that when we got there, they were playing a game amongst each other where they were yelling very loudly, "Get away from me, COVID kid." And I was just so confused as to why none of their parents, and I was like looking at their parents like, are you not going to address the fact that your kid just said something that's extremely insensitive and extremely like not self-aware, not culturally aware, nothing. And they didn't say anything. And I just don't know.
had so much more hope for our generation of adults than that. Look, I have this like image in my head that like our generation of parents are just going to be like so much more, for lack of a better word, like woke than the previous generation, so that we don't have issues like kids. But then when we have a president we don't really like to talk politics on our podcast, but when we have a president that doesn't care about what comes out of his mouth, why would we expect kids to? Or why do we, like, it's just, they hear it on the TV and they're just going to repeat what they say. Like, and then their parents don't address it or explain it to them. And it's our responsibility as parents to address things like that. Like, to me, it just like, that kind of stuff just makes me really like, I wish I would have been with you so you and I both could have been like, hey, that's super offensive and so inconsiderate. And I hope to God that nobody in your family has died of COVID-19, but there are plenty of people that have. And that is a horrible thing to joke about. You really should check yourself and check your kids.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, he was old enough for like, I probably could have said something to him. But I have like this thing as a parent to like, let people parent the way they choose to parent, and like I'm not really going to say something unless it's directed at me.
Phoenix running around repeating that. I mean, not that he
no,
would.
I told him. I was like, don't say that. I told him, I was like, don't say that. Like, they're not saying stuff that's appropriate. And I don't know, just really bothered me. And I wish like I could see this family or this kid again, so I could say to him like, hey, I saw you the other day. You're the one playing that offensive game. Like, it's not Marco Polo. Like, you can't just, I don't know. And I feel like Marco Polo may have some kind of like something offensive
well, it's
about.
it's things like Ring Around the Rosie or Rockabye Baby,
Yeah.
or like these things that we were just like raised, like we should do a podcast on that. Weird freaking offensive things or scary things that you're taught as a kid they're not okay. Like, you don't know the story about Ring Around the Rosie as an example, as a little teaser to a future topic. Ring Around the Rosie is about kids like circling around dead bodies with smallpox. That's so gross and so depressing and so sad. Why do we want our kids seeing that?
Yeah.
No, we don't want that.
Hold on, you're a little bit delayed. Okay, try to talk because you're moving, but
okay.
It's better.
Yeah, is it better? Yeah, it's just like there's just certain things that we just get raised to seeing, and like thankfully we have a mother that's like digs into stuff before. She would never not like, she read the Harry Potter books before she decided that we weren't allowed to read them as kids. She watched all the Matrix movies before she was like, okay, you guys can actually watch these. Like, she never just blindly let us watch or engage in something. And same with those songs. We didn't grow up singing those songs because my mom did her history check and knew what it meant and wanted to make sure that that's not something that we're supposed to be like celebrating, which I feel like a lot of people are trying to do now, especially with like, you know, Juneteenth and these like Columbus Day and these holidays that have been highlighted over the last decade that shouldn't really be holidays. Like, Juneteenth should be celebrated. I wouldn't really call it a holiday. I would just say it should be celebrated and acknowledged, and the history should be passed down. But anyways, people just need to watch what comes out of your mouth. Like, before you say something, like, make sure you know what you're saying before you just start saying it, and make sure your kids know what they're saying before they start saying it. Because your kid's gonna end up being that person that gets like popped in the face in school because they're repeating some nonsense that you said or they heard or they think is okay, and somebody's like, no, like, if your parents aren't going to show you it's not okay, I'm going to show you it's not okay. And that's not an experience you want your kid to have. You want them to be educated enough to know what's good and what's not.
Yeah, by you, and not by somebody else. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really have too much more to say about it. We just wanted to address it because it's just like such an inappropriate thing to say, so insensitive. And like, whatever people's feelings, there's a lot of mixed feelings about COVID-19. There's a lot of mixed feelings about what's going on with our economy, with the future election, all types of things. There's all types of controversy with that. But regardless of that, regardless of how you feel about it, it is not okay for your kids to be saying something like that, because people are getting sick, like, and dying. Like, you wouldn't let your kid walk around and be like, get away from me, cancer kid. Like,
yeah,
nobody's, if a kid said that, people would be
cancer
like, are you serious?
Cancer kid or AIDS kid or any of that stuff.
Exactly.
That'd be horrifying. So we need to have the same level of sensitivity to this as well. So
okay.
But anyway, so the next one is like less deep. Like, that was like real deep. This one is more just about like Ashley and I and our like personal experience as twins. We did an audition, which we can't explain, like, tell you what it was for, but we did an audition and we were speaking with this casting director, and the audition was for twins, and they were like doing a special for twins for this thing. And Ashley and I, if you haven't watched our podcast before, we are identical twins, and we even say that like we do look exactly alike, but that sometimes that's the only thing not to repeat our intro, but sometimes that's the only thing we have in common. Like, we have different personalities, we have different tastes in men, we dress differently. Like, granted, that shirt Ashley has on, I have it in a different color, but still, we still have our own personalities. You will I don't think you would ever catch us in the exact same shirt or the exact same hairstyle or the exact anything anymore. Like, we kind of stopped doing that. Like, when we were old enough to pay for and choose like the way our hair was going to look or whatever, we just paid for what we wanted, and like, and it's not always going to be the same as the other one, and we don't care. That's part of who we are. It's different. So anyways, he made a kind of kept making comments about, so if we casted you guys, you know, like, would you be willing to make yourselves like look the same? And we're going, like, I don't, like, we could make our makeup the same, like. And he was like, and I just thought that was,
you went away. Like, you straight went away.
I'm gone?
No, you're back now, but like for a minute you went away. So you started to say it just or something. And that was the last thing that.
He was saying something about, he said that our hair didn't look the same at all, and like our hair was just so different. And we both have braids. They're the exact same kind of braids. They're just different colors. If there was one blonde haired twin and one brown haired twin, like white girls or not black girls, or didn't have a black like African hairstyle, he wouldn't have made that comment. That's the first thing that really, he kept saying that, like our hair, and actually even said to the guy, like, our hair's not that different. It's still in braids. It's just a different color. And he just kept seeing like he was just so confused about like what we could and couldn't do. Like, and I'm just like, if you want us to have the same hair color, then just say, hey, could you just have the same hair? Could you have your braids be the same color so that you look more alike? Is that something possible? Like, sound like you know what you're talking about. Like, don't just, he kept skating around it. And then he just kept saying that, you know, like, I just know with the producers, like, you know, it is a segment about twins. And we really just want you guys, and we're just not clone twins. Like, we've always thought that was kind of weird growing up with twins, that every time we saw them, like, you're 17 years old and you're dressed exactly the same way as your twin, or like, it's just never been our story. And we think that that's something that all twins that are doing social media and like whatever they're doing, twin influencers, they pretty much all look the same because people are just so fascinated by two people that look the same. And that's great, but there's a different aspect of being a twin that's also individual personalities. And the really cool aspect of it is having somebody that is so similar to you, but then you can see the differences also.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing that's interesting about it is, like, basically, and I wore my hair like this on purpose because this is literally the hairstyle that I have.
And this is how I wore my hair.
That's how she had her hair. And like, I feel like, yeah, we do look different, but it's not important. Is it? People that know us think we look different, but there are literally photos of us. My mom used to say this all the time. When you guys' hair is different, your faces look.
There we go. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So what I was going to say was, our mom used to say all the time that when our hair was different, we looked more alike. And I feel like that is true. Like, the more different our hair looks, the more alike we look. And honestly, this is the closest hairstyle we've had that looks alike in a very, like, when I'm saying a very long time, I'm talking like 10 years since we've had a hairstyle this similar. And people have not been like, oh, like, they're like, oh my gosh, you guys are twins, right? Like, yeah, you know, we look alike, our voices sound similar. Like, so anyways, and the thing about the hair really did put a bad taste in my mouth. And that's why, if you noticed, I 100% addressed black hair care and the style of hair that I normally have and the differences in it, because I take that very seriously. Like, most people aren't educated on black hair. It's not an education. It's not something that people are educated about because it's so different and it's so versatile. To be honest, it's extremely versatile. You can have your hair straight, you can have it curly, you can wear it in a top knot. And if it's longer, if it's long, shoulder length, it's even more styles that you can do. You can decide, I'm done with my hair, put it in braids. You can, you know what I'm saying? There's so many different things that you can do. And our culture is just, it's like more accepting of like the ability for you to change your hair on a daily basis. And I think that that's something that, like, for people that do not have this hair texture, don't have the 4C or 4B or like hairstyles, like that they're so used to, like, it's straight or I've curled it. The only thing that really changes is the color, but it is the texture it is. And it's really only like some girls that have friends, like, you can't put a curl in their hair. Like, you put a curl in it, by the time we get ready to go out, the curl's gone. Their hair's just bone straight. That's all it's gonna be. It's gonna be bone straight. If they want to do anything else with it, they're gonna have to process it or color it. That's the only things they can do, right? So it's like, it's not, you know. So anyways, I'm not going on a whole rant about natural hair because we did a whole podcast on that already, but like, that particular part just seemed extremely insensitive, and it doesn't really make me, to be honest, it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth for being motivated to go do this, because I don't want to be on a set and have somebody be like, okay, so how can we make you guys
take your glasses off? And they're just poking and prodding at us, trying to get us to look more alike, or trying to get us to like be more twin-like or whatever. And we are twins, and we're very proud of it. But we're also so proud of our differences, and so proud of like how we've grown as individual humans, because we balance each other out way more when we're different than we would if we were just the same freaking person. We don't have the same careers. We don't have the same career goals. We don't have the same mindsets on everything. We argue. We have different viewpoints of just our, like, we have the same life, but we have different views on it completely. And again, those are the things that keep us balanced. And they also allow for us to have relationships where we know how to, we work on it, but try to learn to communicate with other people. And we're not just always been with somebody that always just agrees with us. And then when you're with somebody that doesn't agree with you, it's like a shock to your system. And this is coming from, we've known many, many, many twins in our life. Some of them are completely separate on different parts of the world. And some of them are like connected at the hip, have the same job, same career. And I feel like when you have that much closeness with a twin, even though
there's not really
are
room
super,
for anyone
super
else.
close, it doesn't make room for anybody else in your life. It doesn't make room for relationships or kids or any of that stuff. So yeah, Ashley and I can still be best friends and still like want to hang out and still want to live close and raise our families together. But we literally lived across a parking lot and saw each other probably once a week because we have full lives. We talk to each other every day, but we still have full lives. Like our lives don't circle around each other. So anyways, yeah. That was
it's our rant.
Some seriousness happened this week.
Yeah. Since it's our podcast, I feel like we can say how we really feel about it.
And that was another thing too, that they didn't want us to say anything about our podcast. They kept asking us like what our hobbies were and stuff, and we're just like, our podcast, like that is what we do with all of our time. And you're asking us like to come up with things to do like that we do, which we do have hobbies other than the podcast, but our like the little bit of spare time we have throughout the week doesn't really go to like all of our hobbies. Like you work out every day, but as far as having like individual hobbies, individual things anymore, it pretty much either revolves around our kids or our podcast. That's pretty much it. So
yeah,
and we're okay with that.
Yeah, we don't need to be like, I mean, Victoria and Vanessa, they are like world travelers. They go everywhere. We have another couple that we know, and they have been, as soon as the green light opened for people to be able to travel, they started driving all over the country. And yeah, that's great when you don't have a family and kids, like cool. And there are some people that are like just nomads and they have kids, but I strive for a little bit more like stability and consistency. So, but yeah, even that, like we're just different, and that's fine. Like it's totally fine. I don't think that we should be made to feel bad because we are twins and what is expected of us. People want to put us in a box and be like, oh, you're twins, that means that you need to dress like, you need to drive the same car, you need to date the same type of guys, you need to marry the same, like, no, like we are allowed to be whoever we want. People are allowed to be whatever gender they want, whatever religion they want, whatever, like they can claim whatever they want. They can raise their kids the way that we want. As twins, like we should be able to, as identical twins, just because we come out of the womb identical does not mean that we need to maintain this like constant, like go on the same path our whole lives. Like, no. I think you and I made that decision very, very, very early on that we're just different. And that's fine. Normal siblings are different, we still have a closeness that other siblings do not have, but has nothing to do with like how we look out on the outside. It has to do with like our actual relationship with each other. It doesn't have to do with whether or not you have purple hair and I have black hair, or you like, you know what I'm saying? Like it has nothing to do with that. So yeah, okay. I feel like I need to get a little bit more out. But, yeah, just caca. Let it go.
Let it fly away.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. On that note, I think that's probably a good spot to end on caca.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening. I am so excited that we actually got a podcast under an hour. So that is something to be excited about. Woohoo!
Yes. So please make sure that you go, and if you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you know every Wednesday when we put out our new podcast. Go ahead and scoot on over and follow us on Instagram and follow all of our links to see where you guys can see us. And make sure you check out our highlights and check in on Tuesdays and Thursdays for our Twinspiration Tuesdays and Thursdays. And
I really quickly want to say hello to all of the people from South America that liked my post.
In Africa.
I'm sorry. That's what I meant. I meant South Africa. From Cape Town, just everywhere. Like literally, I was looking at the insights. Did you look at the insights? 852.
All these beautiful, awesome African women saw our post And I was just so like, where did all of you come from? But we are so happy to have you guys in the Twin Life Podcast family. So thank you guys so much for showing all of your love. And I tried to get through all of you guys and see all of your pages. And those of you who aren't blocked or private or whatever, I just tried to go in and lock. So please make sure if you're following us on our Instagram now, welcome. Now go listen to the podcast. Follow us on YouTube. All the things.
Yes. And I feel like there's something else I was going to say. Oh, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. 5 stars would be great.
Yes.
That helps other people find us and us to share our message with other people. And if you enjoy us and you had a laugh from listening to us, why not share that?
Tell someone else.
Yes, tell someone. But
all right. So on that note,
we will talk to you guys later. Okay? Bye.